Funding for the 2017 World Food Prize has been provided by Friends, the Iowa Public Television Foundation, and a grant from the W.T. and Edna M. Dahl Trust.
On a crisp autumn evening in America's heartland, leaders from across the globe have descended into Iowa's capital city of Des Moines to honor agricultural breakthroughs and discuss the path forward for hunger initiatives. Moments ago, guests from across the world climbed the steps of the state capitol for a night of dialogue and honors, all culminating tonight in the 2017 World Food Prize ceremony. Welcome inside the House chambers of the Iowa Capitol. Des Moines plays host to tonight's gathering of hundreds of global...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2017 World Food Prize Laureate Award Ceremony. Now, please welcome the World Food Prize Council of Advisors. Ms. Margaret Catley Carlson of Canada. Dr. W. Ronnie Kaufman of Cornell University. Sir Gordon Conway of Imperial College in London. Dr. Luis Fresco, President of Van Engen University in the Netherlands. From Des Moines, Dr. Rachel Ruan McLean. Mr. Paul Schickel, former president of DuPont Pioneer. From Egypt, the Emeritus Director of Biotech and Alexandra, Dr. Ishmael Serajeldin. Peter McPherson, President, Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities. Now, join me in welcoming past World Food Prize laureates. The 1996 laureate from India, Dr. Gurdev Kush. Dr. Per Pinstrup Andersen from Denmark, the 2001 laureate. The 2002 World Food Prize laureate, a native of Cuba from the United States, Dr. Pedro Sanchez. Minister of Agriculture of Rwanda, Her Excellency Agnes Kalibata. The Commissioner of Rural Economy and Agriculture for the African Union, Her Excellency Josepheth Sako. the Chief Minister of the State of Andhra Pradesh, India, the Honorable N. Chudibabu Naidu. Sami Zaglu, Dean of the Board of Directors of the African Development Bank. Her Excellency Yatunde Ona Nuga, Deputy Governor of Ogun State of Nigeria. The Minister of State for Agriculture from Nigeria, His Excellency Heineken Lakpobiri. The Administrator of the United States Agency for International Development, the Honorable Mark Green. A former governor of Iowa, former Secretary of Agriculture of the United States, and a member of the World Food Prize Council of Advisors, the Honorable Tom Vilsack. Foundation Chairman John Ruan III, and Foundation President Ambassador Kenneth Quinn. And now, please welcome the 2017 World Food Prize laureate from Nigeria, the President of the African Development Bank, His Excellency Dr. Akiwumi Adesina. And now, please welcome tonight's distinguished special guests of honor. The former President of Nigeria and a former member of the World Food Prize Council of Advisors, His Excellency Olusegun Obasanjo. The former President of Ghana, His Excellency John Mahama. Presiding at tonight's ceremony, please welcome the Governor of the State of Iowa, the Honorable Kim Reynolds.
As eyes once again turn to Des Moines for the presentation of the World Food Prize, it is edifying to reflect on the fact that when the Iowa Territory was first opened for settlement in 1834, the global population had just reached 1 billion. When Norman Borlaug and John Ruan Sr. were born in 1914, the world population had only risen to 1.7 billion, an addition of 700 million people in 80 years. However, just 95 years later, when Dr. Borlaug passed away in 2009, there were 7 billion people on the face of the earth, an increase of 5.3 billion more mouths to feed. As global population grows at this staggering rate, the battle against hunger struggles to keep up. It was a singular dedication to feeding this ever-expanding world that led to Norman Borlaug's vision of creating the World Food Prize. Born on a small Iowa farm, Dr. Borlaug's pioneering work in Mexico to produce higher-yielding strains of wheat ushered in the Green Revolution, preventing large-scale famine in South Asia and earning him the title of the man who has saved more lives than any other person who has ever lived. Shortly after receiving the Nobel Peace Prize in 1970, Dr. Borlaug embarked on a mission to recognize and inspire those individuals who would lead the fight against world hunger. And in 1986, the General Foods World Food Prize was born. The first World Food Prize was awarded in 1987 to Dr. M.S. Swaminathan of India. However, just 3 short years later, the future of the World Food Prize was in serious doubt after corporate restructuring ended financial support for the prize. Dr. Borlaug would once again have to find a sponsor. This time, his search would lead him back to Iowa and toward the formation of a partnership that would forever change the World Food Prize. Noted businessman and philanthropist John Ruan Sr., who, like Dr. Borlaug, was born in a small Iowa town in 1914, had a long-standing vision that Iowa be seen as the agricultural capital of America. Thus, a resonant chord was struck in Ruan, and in 1990 he announced his intent to bring the prize to Iowa, thereby securing its future. Over the last decades, with the support of the governor and the state legislature faced, it will be the next generations of laureates and global leaders who will determine whether we are able to fulfill Dr. Borlaug's dictum enshrined in the magnificent World Food Prize Hall of Laureates, that food is the moral right of all who are born into this world. With the legacies of Norman Borlaug and John Ruan Sr. to guide them, and the World Food Prize laureates to inspire them, there is every reason to be optimistic. And so, thanks to the remarkable accomplishments of its laureates and the contributions of its founders, what began as one man's idea has grown to become the world's foremost award, recognizing great accomplishments and inspiring even greater achievements in the fight to eradicate hunger and poverty in the 21st century.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president of the World Food Prize Foundation, Ambassador Kenneth M. Quinn.
To everyone here this evening, to all watching on Iowa Public Television and via webcast around the globe, welcome. Welcome to the 2017 World Food Prize Laureate Award Ceremony, as we bring the world to Iowa and present the foremost international award for combating hunger and promoting global food security. Governor Reynolds, on behalf of our chairman, John Ruan III, and Janice Ruan, my wife, Lei Sun, all of us at the World Food Prize, I want to say how very grateful we are to you, First Gentleman Kevin Reynolds, for presiding at tonight's ceremony. And to you, Governor, Lieutenant Governor Gregg, and the bipartisan leadership of the legislature here with us tonight, thank you. Thank you for the incomparable privilege of holding our ceremony here in the magnificent Iowa State Capitol for the 16th time. Congressman Steve King, David Young, thank you so very much. We're so honored to have you here. Mrs. Barbara Grassley, whose birthday is on Saturday. Please, yes, happy birthday. Please convey our greetings to Senator Chuck Grassley. And Secretary Tom Vilsack and Christy Vilsack, so good to have you with us tonight. You know, it was you, when you were governor, who presided over the first World Food Prize ceremony here, the Capitol, with Norman Borlaug and John Ruan Sr. up here. And since then, I've had a marvelous partnership with John Ruan III, and as we've worked to carry forward and fulfill the vision that your dad and Norman Borlaug had. And it's only been with John's support and guidance that we've been able to build the World Food Prize for these past 2 decades to fulfill his dad's and Norm's dreams. So John Ruan III, John, please stand up so we can thank you and the Ruan family. Janice Ruan here, the Ruan family over here. Thank you for all that you've done. Norman Borlaug said there would not be a World Food Prize except for the generosity of the Ruan family. Now, to commemorate Norman Borlaug's achievements and reflect his ongoing inspiration, this ceremony, we keep his chair open. It's the chair that Norm always occupied at this ceremony. But while Norm is no longer with us, we're so very fortunate to have his daughter and granddaughter with us. Jeannie, Julie, thank you for your presence. Thank you for all you're doing to carry forward your father and your grandfather's legacy to eliminate hunger in the world. 4 winners, impressive young women and men. Since our international internship program began in 1998, we've had nearly 300 students just like them. We've sent them to 34 different research centers around the world. And then people ask me, well, what happens to them after that? So I said I like to bring 1 or 2 interns back each year, introduce them to you, let them tell you about their journeys and how the World Food Prize has impacted their lives. So tonight we have someone very special. He was a 2011 World Food Prize Borlaug Ruan intern at the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences in Beijing. And since then, he's had an amazing experience with national recognition. Because following graduation from college, he made it a remarkable run on the Food Channel network show Chopped, eventually winning the Young Chef competition. You know, I mean, I like to watch football and competitive and things, but there was so exciting watching the 2 of them dueling as who's going to be the best young chef. So please welcome the champion of Chopped, Lazarus Lynch.
Well, thank you, Ambassador Quinn, for that introduction, and to all dignitaries in their respective places. I am just so honored to have been part of the Global Youth Institute back in 2010, and I remember it like it was yesterday, you know, feeling quite unsure what I was getting myself into, a guy from New York City, first time in Iowa. It's quite the culture shock. I met so many like-minded youth and students, and we not only saw the challenge of ending hunger as something that was possible in our generation, but also we were committed to taking action back in our communities. The World Food Prize allowed me the opportunity to explore and expand my ideas around feeding the world. And in 2011, I became a Borlaug Ruan international intern, where I studied in Beijing, China, at the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences. It was just a life-changing experience. It was in China where I learned that food was not only, yes, a moral right in the words of Dr. Norman Borlaug, but that it was going to take scientists, chefs, innovation, and thoughtful policy to really solve our greatest issues around food production. Finally, as though, you know, China wasn't life-changing enough, in 2013, I became a USDA Wallace Carver intern, where I worked for Secretary Tom Vilsack in the Office of Scheduling at the USDA. and consequently managed to sneak my way to the White House a couple times. Thanks for that. I can go on and on about how these events impacted my life professionally and personally, but in the interest of time, I will simply say thank you. Thank you to the World Food Prize for believing in young people and our abilities to make a difference. And thank you for empowering us to own our voices as uniquely as they are, and providing us with the opportunities to go out into the world and do something amazing. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm standing here tonight as someone who personally understands the stories of the youth that you've just seen. You see, I started off just down the street here at East High School. And it's an urban school, so the question that I always get naturally is, how does a city kid end up with 2 degrees in agronomy? Well, the answer is simple. The Global Youth Institute. You see, it was 14 years ago that I was sitting in this chamber at this ceremony watching Dr. Norman Borlaug present the World Food Prize to Catherine Bertini, just the second woman ever to win the prize. And that had such a profound impact on me, it set in motion my entire journey. I became a Borlaug-Ruan intern in Brazil. I was a USDA Wallace Carver Fellow. I earned degrees in agronomy, and then I came back to the World Food Prize to build the Iowa Youth Institute. And Governor Reynolds, what an honor it was to build that with you and the Governor's STEM Advisory Council, and I am so proud of our efforts because today, 2/3 of the participants in that program, which is an agriculture and STEM program, or STEAM as we like to call it here, 2/3 of the participants are young women. And it was my experience here 14 years ago. It was my experience here 14 years ago that's led me now to a faculty position in the Global Resource Systems program in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences at Iowa State University. And this is a major which is literally inspiring the next generation in Africa. We're through. Through our service learning program, our students and Ugandan students from Makerere University work together in rural Uganda to learn about food security, agriculture, nutrition, development. And so, Dr. Adeshina, we know that 2 of your major goals are empowering women and empowering youth. So it is my distinct pleasure to introduce tonight from your country, from Nigeria, a singing group of young women who lift their voices to uplift women and share Nigerian culture with all. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome here tonight, all the way from Nigeria, Aduni and Nefertiti.
Ìbàdàn ni mo rè o, Ìbàdàn ni mo
Aduni and Nefertiti.
I must say I have literally known Dr. Norman Borlaug all of my career in agriculture. But one encounter stands out for me. It was in 2006 in New York, as Dr. Borlaug and I both walked on Fifth Avenue on the way to the Rockefeller Foundation. We were preparing for the Africa Fertilizer Summit, held under the chairmanship of President Obasanjo, the then president of Nigeria. Well, Dr. Borlaug, then 92 years old, put his hand on my shoulder and asked me the question, Akin, do you play soccer? And I said, yes, I do. He said, you know, in soccer, if you score your first goal, you get the confidence you can really win the match. Then patting me gently on the back, he said, Akin, go and score the first goal for African agriculture. I will never forget this truly special moment of inspiration, which I fondly refer to as the call.
Since then, with Norman Borlaug's challenge as his inspiration, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina has indeed been scoring amazing goals for Africa, advancing Borlaug's dream of a transformed African continent. In so doing, he has led millions on the road out of poverty, a road he traveled himself many years before. Born February 6, 1960 in Ibadan, Nigeria, Adesina grew up in a one-room house without electricity or plumbing. His father, Roland Adesina, was determined to see his children receive an education. In attending a village school, he learned the reality of rural poverty among small farmers and saw the importance of education and the role it played in raising individuals out of poverty. It was during his early education that Adesina came to understand the link between agriculture and improved livelihoods, which would shape his own path going forward and help him chart a roadmap out of poverty for millions of others. Adesina studied at the University of Ife in Nigeria, graduating at the top of his class with a Bachelor's of Agriculture degree. There he met his future wife, Grace. Grace's father, Dr. Barnabas Oloruntoba, was the former Minister of Agriculture of Nigeria and would become a lifelong mentor to Adeshina. In fact, when he went to ask her father for her hand in marriage, the two men ended up having a long conversation about agriculture before finally getting around to the true purpose of his visit. Adeshina's education continued at Purdue University in the United States, where he pursued a master's and doctorate in the field of agricultural economics. Upon graduation, now Dr. Adeshina returned to Africa with a Borlaug-like goal: help smallholder farmers increase crop production and improve their livelihoods. To that end, he began a postdoctoral fellowship at the Rockefeller Foundation, and 10 years later joined the foundation as a senior agricultural scientist. It was in this new position at the Rockefeller Foundation that Adeshina would play a pivotal role in organizing the 2006 African Fertilizer Summit in Abuja, Nigeria. He worked closely with Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, a former member of the World Food Prize Council of Advisors, to convince key African leaders of the importance of attending such a gathering. The summit was one of the largest high-level meetings at that point in history to bring together African heads of state to focus on the continent's critical food production issues. With an impassioned address by Borlaug and Adeshina's adept organization, the event was a huge success, galvanizing the political will of the African leaders who set a goal to eliminate hunger in Africa by 2030 with the Abuja Declaration. The momentum generated at Abuja led to the birth of the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, or AGRA, to which Adeshina was appointed vice president. Financial credit for farmers was largely unavailable, and so Adeshina took on the challenge of convincing banks to invest in the agricultural sector. One of his first successes came through an innovative financial system, which ensured credit and loans to smallholder farmers in Uganda, when he convinced the Bank of Uganda to lend to banana growers. This success honed his message that to succeed, smallholder farmers had to run their farms like businesses. From there, with critical support from the Rockefeller and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Adeshina scaled up his success across the continent. He was able to leverage millions of dollars in loans to smallholder farmers as well as agro-dealers. 50 million became available in Kenya, and another 100 million to farmers in 7 other African countries. And Adeshina was just getting started. These achievements from his work at AGRA led to his return to Nigeria in 2011 and his appointment by President Goodluck Jonathan as the Minister of Agriculture. In one of his first initiatives, Adeshina took bold steps to end corruption in the fertilizer industry. He knew the first step to uplifting agriculture was to reach farmers directly. To do this, he introduced the innovative electronic wallet system, which was immediately successful. The e-wallet provided subsidized electronic vouchers directly to farmers through their mobile phones. These e-vouchers could then be used as cash to buy directly from agro-dealers. This incredible system cut 40 years of corruption in a matter of months. Adeshina was paving the road out of poverty with 21st century technology. For this breakthrough achievement, Adeshina became known as the Farmer's Minister. The results of his leadership of the Nigerian agricultural sector were staggering. Within 4 years, 14.5 million farmers saw their lives transformed. Under Adeshina's leadership, food production expanded by 21 million metric tons. The number of seed companies jumped from just 5 to 80 as farmers planted more and more improved crops. A new Nigerian rice variety increased yields of rice 5 to 6 tons per hectare. Under his dynamic leadership, $5.6 billion in private sector investments were attracted to the country. Reflecting the enormity of his success, Adeshina received the Yara Prize, the most significant Africa-focused award at that time. And in an amazing first for an individual from agriculture, Adesina was voted Forbes Africa's Person of the Year. In 2016, with a decade of success behind him, Adesina became the first person ever from an agricultural background to be chosen to lead a regional development bank. Now he is using his vision and his passion as president of the African Development Bank to pave a new road for Africa and fulfill what he describes as his life goal: to uplift millions out of poverty. For all his monumental success, Adesina has not shown any signs of slowing down. Through his African Leaders for Nutrition initiative, he aims to reduce and then eliminate malnutrition and stunting. And in Ahmedabad, side by side with Indian Prime Minister Modi, he spoke about the coming day when Africa will feed itself. In September 2016, at the TICAD 6 conference in Nairobi, Adesina met with Yohei Sasakawa, the son of the man who had first brought Norman Borlaug to Africa 30 years ago. At that conference, Japanese Prime Minister Abe said he felt sure that Norman Borlaug was looking down from Green Revolution heaven with a smile on his face about all that has been accomplished. No doubt Norm is smiling even more broadly tonight as we honor that young man he challenged many years ago, who through his innovations, boundless passion, and Borlaug-like determination, is now scoring some of the greatest goals for African agriculture. For his role in carrying forward Borlaug's legacy, fulfilling his vision of transforming African agriculture and uplifting millions out of poverty, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina has been called Africa's Norman Borlaug. And as such, he is truly deserving to be proclaimed the 2017 World Food Prize Laureate.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2017 World Food Prize Laureate, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina.
Come right here. We'll be right here side by side. We'll be in the picture here.
At this time, we invite the World Food Prize Chairman, John Ruan III.
John, wait.
His Excellency former President John Mahama and His Excellency former President Olusegun Obasanjo to join Chairman Ruan III on the dais. The World Food Prize sculpture will now be presented to the 2017 laureate.
So I now invite Chairman Ruan, two presidents, to return to your seats.
The Vice President, Michael Pence of the United States, represented by my dear friend, Honorable Green of the USAID Administrator, thank you very much for that warm letter from His Excellency the Vice President. Thank you so much. Madam Governor Reynolds of Iowa, my dear friend Secretary Blisak, former Governor of Iowa, my beautiful wife, isn't she gorgeous? Grace, my family that are here with me, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who is actually a father for me, former President Mahama of Ghana, representative of the President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, and a representative of President Macky Sall of Senegal, Your Excellencies, ambassadors, congressmen that are here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I thank God and my Savior Jesus Christ for his grace on my life, and to him I rededicate myself to help feed our world. I wish to thank Ambassador Queen. I want to thank in particular John and Janice Rowan, the Bollock family, to have Jenny and Julie, Professor M.S. Swaminathan, the board of the World Food Prize Foundation, for the great honor of being awarded the World Food Prize for 2017. And I wish to thank my mentor, Dr. Norman Borlaug, for taking time off at this point to look down from heaven. At this moment, here is for you, Nam. I feel so inspired to receive the World Food Prize. It is simply amazing that a son of a poor farmer who grew out of poverty will be on world stage to receive the World Food Prize. I thank my parents for sacrificing for me to go to school. If not, I probably will not have been here today. I probably will be a poor kid languishing away in the village. I want to thank my father-in-law, who is not here. I wish he was here today, Dr. Banas Bas Olorotobe. He gave me a lot of inspiration in agriculture. But he left me something great I will never forget, a wonderful daughter in Grace. I did not get here alone. My dear wife, Grace, if you may stand, please. And please remain standing until I ask you to sit. Grace sacrificed her career for mine. She helped to bring up our two lovely sons, Rodimi and Shegun. As we move around the world, she is my closest partner in this journey. She inspires me and challenges my ideas, refines them, but has always made them shine. I love you, honey. Thank you very much. My bosses and colleagues throughout my career, several who are here tonight, they inspired me. From the Rockefeller Foundation, Gordon Conway, president who hired me there, Bob Hart, Gary Torrenson, Peter Matlin, these are the folks that helped to shape me, and I want to thank you very much tonight. My professors at Purdue University, they sowed in me a passion for international development. And of course, I feel tremendously honored that President Michel will hear from Purdue University, and what an outstanding band we had from Purdue University. Great surprise. Thank you very much, Professor, for being here. The Rockefeller Foundation, what will I be without Rockefeller Foundation? The Rockefeller Foundation and the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, where I worked for over a decade, they allowed me to try out many of my bold ideas. Some of them were pretty risky as well. And it sparked my drive to end hunger and poverty. I would like to particularly thank Bill and Melinda Gates because they played a great role in all the work that I did. I salute and thank all my staff, my colleagues, the board of directors of the African Development Bank for our shared passion to feed Africa. Several leaders supported me, especially Baba, President Obasanjo, who nominated me to be the Minister of Agriculture in Nigeria. And that's another story I must tell another day. And former President Goodluck Jonathan of Nigeria, who gave me the honor of my life to serve Nigeria as Minister of Agriculture. I also wish to thank the President of my country, Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, for his very strong support of me. And of course, sitting right here is President John Mahama, who has supported me so much over the years. My staff in the Ministry of Agriculture in Nigeria, the farmers of Nigeria, the private sector, the youths of Nigeria were part of the remarkable successes we achieved on agricultural transformation in Nigeria. To them, I say a very big thank you. I dedicate this World Food Prize to my dear wife, Grace, to Africa, and to all my colleagues with whom I have worked over the years. I didn't work alone. There will not be any rest for me until Africa feeds itself, and for that, we need the youth. And so, even though I don't have the check in my hand right now, I hereby commit my $250,000 US, that's $250,000 World Food Prize Award, to set up a fund fully dedicated to providing grants, fellowships, and financing for the youth of Africa in agriculture as a business. Thank you very much. Thanks, Sam. Thank you. We will arise and feed Africa. The day is coming very soon when the barns of Africa will be filled, when all of its children will be well fed, when its millions of smallholder farmers will be able to send their kids to school. Then you will hear a new song across Africa. Thank God our lives are better at last. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Wow. President Adesina, I think you've taken everybody's breath away. What a magnificent remarks, and you are a magnificent World Food Prize laureate. Let's. Crystal. What time is it? 8:25? So, President Adesina, if you could sit down for 1 second. You know, each year we conduct some research about our laureate to try to determine what type of music you might find an appropriate finale. And to do that, we secretly contacted Grace, and she conspired with us to help us find that person who would be like the perfect one to entertain you. And we identified that performer, but there were incredible conflicts, and we couldn't get it worked out, and it looked like we weren't going to be able to make it happen until that performer personally broke through all the problems, swept them away, flew here all the way from Lagos just to be here tonight for you, her fellow Nigerian and new World Food Prize laureate. So please welcome the acclaimed Nigerian singing sensation and West African idol, Omawumi.
I am from the land of freedom, the land of the setting sun, with countless different colors. Africa is where we're from. We've had our highs, had our lows. The path of victory is what we know. With a shine our eyes, grow our own. We are the future and everybody knows. Africa, oh, Africa, oh, my own ever. Africa, 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 hey, Africa, oh, Africa, oh, my own ever. Africa, 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 hey. The motherland that brought us forth is the one I talk about. Hey, no matter where you come from, trust me, your roots are shouting loud. Oh, from Mozambique to Uganda, from Morocco to Douala. See the hills, see the rivers, see Orlando, Zambezi, Orange, Congo, Lagos to Kilimanjaro. We have everything we need. We are strong and we are free. Yeah. Africa, oh, Africa, oh, my own ever. Africa, Africa, hey, Africa, Africa, hey, Africa, oh, my own ever. Africa, 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 hey, Africa, oh, yeah, oh, Africa, Africa, mommy, Africa, Africa, hey, Africa, yeah, oh, Africa, Africa, hey. Congratulations, sir. My name is Amaomi, and I bring you greetings from Nigeria. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, mommy. My able president is here. I have a song to sing. It's called Butterflies, and I hope you like it. Don't make me turn around for you. Please let me walk away with my heart unbroken. These walls hear me yearn for you. How do I describe this love unspoken? You come to me in my dreams, but you don't know it. And I want to stay in my dreams, but I'm not sure if it's right to live a lie, knowing that you won't come back to me every night. And I'll give anything just to be the woman in your life. How do I get rid of these butterflies? Oh, yeah. I want to live my life with you. I want to show the world how much I love you. If you could only feel the same way too, then you would know how much it hurts me every night when you come to me in my dreams, but you don't know it. And I want to stay in my It's right to live a lie, knowing that you won't come back to me every night. And I'll give anything just to be the woman in your life. How do I get rid of these butterflies? See, I'm tired of singing these lullabies, and I don't know how to tell you goodbye. That you know, even know that I have been loving you. Is it right to live a lie, knowing that you won't come back to me every night? And I'll give anything just to be the woman in your life. How do I, knowing that you won't come back to me every night? And I'll give anything just to be the woman in your life. How do I get rid of these butterflies? Get rid of these butterflies. Get rid of these. Get rid of these butterflies. Don't make me turn around for you. Have a lovely evening, people.
Omawumi, come back out. Come out for another bow. Yeah. Yeah. One more.
Funding for the 2017 World Food Prize has been provided by Friends, the Iowa Public Television Foundation, and a grant from the W.T. and Edna M. Dahl Trust.